Tonight on News Prime, Senate resumes adjourns plenary to honor late Uba. An alleged treason Justice Nyako rescues himself from Nnamdi Kanu's trial. In business, petrol price hits 2,500 naira as Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria shut filling stations overseas trucks. And on the foreign scene, the missing American hiker found dead in South Africa. And sports, Juventus plot Osimhen Serie A return. Hello and welcome to all of you as in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Deacon Michael. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. We begin tonight by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has formally requested the Senate to confirm Justice Kekere Ekun as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. During Tuesday's plenary session, the request was presented in a letter read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. Kekere Ekun has been serving as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria since August, following the retirement of Justice Olakayode Ariwoola. The House of Representatives says it is expecting the submission of the 2025 appropriation bill by the executive as it resumes from its annual recess today. The House spokesperson Rep. Akin Torete made disclosed in a statement. He said timely submission from the executive will be crucial as it facilitated through the scrutiny and the public input through the town hall meetings. A practice he added was pounded by the House during the 2024 budget review. And on to National Assembly issues, the Nigerian Senate has suspended plenary in honor of late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, who passed away during the annual recess of the National Assembly. The Red Chamber resumed its plenary session on Tuesday following the annual recess that began in late July. Queen Agaba has the details.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, read several correspondences from President Bola Tinubu. The communications included a supplementary appropriation bill for the Federal Capital Territory Administration, the nomination of Justice Kudirat Kekere Ekun for confirmation as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and a request for the confirmation of commissioners for the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission.
To forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of 21 underlisted nominees as commissioners to fill the existing vacancies of their respective states in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission.
After the formalities, the lawmakers paid tribute to the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, CON, by observing a moment of silence.
To rise, observe a minute silence in honor of distinguished Senator Ifeanyi Ubah.
Senator Ubah, who passed away in late July 2024 at 52, represented the Anambra South Senatorial District and chaired the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources. Following the tribute, the plenary session was adjourned to honor the late senator's legacy.
We therefore extend our heartfelt condolences to his family, his constituents, Anambra State, and indeed our dear nation. At the appropriate time, we'll do justice to his legacies.
The adjournment by the Red Chamber is in line with the tradition of the National Assembly to suspend the first sitting after the death of a federal lawmaker. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting.
Meanwhile, in a move designed to strengthen the country's national value system following the declining of values, the Federal Executive Council has approved the establishment of a Citizens Value Brigade for primary and secondary schools across the country. Our Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said this while addressing correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting chaired by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Sharon Najet tells us more.
Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says the government is worried about the observed decline in value system, hoping that it can be altered for the sake of sustainable development. He further says there is an improvement of inclusion of national value charter and national symbols to be made mandatory not just in the curriculum but in the teaching of civil education.
Model citizens among Nigerians, we have noted, Council has noted the gradual erosion of our values, especially among the younger ones, and this is giving rise to the kind of misbehavior and attitude that we see that is out of tune with our tradition and our norms and our upbringing. So, Council has noted that there is the need for strengthening and going back to these core values that Nigeria is known for over time, for which we know that there has been some kind of decline.
The Federal Executive Council also approved the construction of 40 houses for judges and justices in the Federal Capital Territory. Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, announced this during the media briefing, saying that the 40 residents will be constructed in the Katampe district, with 20 allocated to the FCT High Court, 10 to the Federal High Court, and 10 to the Court of Appeal. He says the project is slated for completion within 15 months.
The importance, Mr. President, attaches to the judiciary. Mr. Frame finds it very difficult how judges and justices will be living in rented houses and hotel apartments. That is not safe for judiciary. That is not convenient for them to do their work. And so Mr. President directed that the FCT, through the FCDA, should immediately construct 40 number judges and justices quarters at Katampe district. Now what it means is that out of these 40, FCT High Court, which is like the FCT Court, will have 20. The Federal High Court will have 10, and the Court of Appeal will have 10.
However, the council also approved several major road projects across the country, allocating billions of naira for construction. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, announced that the Abuja-Kano Road project, handled by Julius Berger, received approval of 740 billion naira. The project, initially valued at 155 billion naira, was revised to 797 billion naira by the previous administration and further increased to 1.5 trillion naira. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Nigerian Army has refuted the allegation of sexual harassment by the ex-Private Road Ogunleye against Ibrahim Abdulkarim and other personnel of Army Medical Corps Lagos. This rebuttal was made by the Director of Army Public Relations, Major General Oyema Nwachiku, while addressing journalists in Abuja. Our correspondent Kikelo Makere has details.
It could be recalled that earlier this year, a female army personnel, Ogunleye Ruth, cried out for help over alleged sexual abuse by her superior officer through her social media platforms. The Director, Army Public Relations, Oyema Nwachuku, reveals that the Army took every accusation leveled against its personnel seriously and established procedure to investigate claims made against its personnel to ensure a fair and impartial process. It stated that the findings were definitive and based on objective evaluation of the available information. The investigation concluded that Colonel Abdulkarim did not commit the offense of sexual harassment as alleged by ex-Private Ruth Ogunleye.
It is crucial to assert that the Nigerian Army, in its bid to ensure justice and transparency, conducted an exhaustive review of the facts, testimonies, and evidence presented. The investigation concluded that Colonel I.B. Abdulkarim did not commit the offense of sexual harassment as alleged by ex-Private Ruth Ogunleye. The findings were definitive and based on objective evaluation.
Nwachukwu disclosed that ex-private Ruth Ogunleye had been recommended for discharge on medical grounds since 2022, but the Nigerian Army, being sympathetic, thought it wise to give her the best medical treatment before discharging her into the wider society. He says her act of defamation is therefore due to her mental health issues, which was confirmed at the National Hospital in Abuja.
While the Army was addressing the allegations of sexual harassment, further concerns about Ruth Ogunleye's conduct came to light. Her behavior, both online and offline, raised questions about her worsening mental health and emotional stability. Consequently, the Nigerian Army referred ex-private Ruth Ogunleye for medical evaluation at the National Hospital in Abuja, following earlier assessments made by the Nigerian Army Medical Corps that suggested potential mental health concerns.
He stated that the Nigerian Army is a professional force committed to highest standards of discipline, integrity, and accountability. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Imo State Independent Electoral Commission has declared all the 27 chairmanship and 305 councillorship candidates of the All Progressive Congress winners of the state local government election. Our correspondent in Imo State, Amarachi Ibe, tells us more.
While responding to allegations by opposition parties, the Commission's chairman, Professor Jogu, says the agency followed all laid-down procedures, describing the election as peaceful, fair and credible.
Fair, transparent, and credible.
Meanwhile, the state chairman of APC, McDonald Ebere, has congratulated all the winners at the election and praised the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, for providing a level playing field for all political parties in the election.
I want to first of all thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State, for providing the enabling environment for this election to be seamless. I want to thank the Imo people who came out in mass to vote for the party of their choice. For those who won this election, I know they will be magnanimous in victory. And for everything we are Imo people.
Amarachi Ibe, Global TV, Owerri.
Governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, has approved a reduction in the number of days public servants are required to work each week in a bid to lessen their transportation cost. The governor also announced an extension of palliative payments to public servants for the next 2 months. A statement issued by the governor's spokesperson, Olawale Rashid Al-Nabten in Osobo on Tuesday indicated that the approval was outlined in a circular from the office of the head of service. And after Judiciary Justice Binta Nyeko of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has recused herself from the trial of the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on the allegation of bias leveled against her by the accused person. The decision of the judge to rescue herself from the trial followed Kanu's open outburst against his counsel and the judge. Our correspondent Ruyi of Magwewe has the details.
It says all these things are...
Nnamdi Kanu, who spoke from the dock at the resumed proceeding, directly told Justice Yanko that he no longer had confidence in the handling of his trial, while his lawyer, Aloy Jemako, was trying to persuade the court to suspend the trial on the basis that his client was denied the opportunity to prepare his defense. Kanu got up from his seat and ordered him to sit down.
Then we need to try another court. The Constitution is very clear on this. Section 36 made it very clear that he deserves, as of right, the adequate facility to prepare for his defense. And who prepares him for his defense? His defense counsel. But we're not being given the opportunity. The court did make some order, and the consequences of that order would have resulted in getting him adequately prepared. But most of those orders were disobeyed in their material particulars. For instance, we were not provided a clean room where no one will have listening devices to listen to our conversations. And our documents, legal documents we take to the DSS facility, detention facility, are interdicted and seized and taken to places, photocopies and whatnot. Even
the prosecution counsel Adegboyega Awomolo urged the court to proceed with the trial, but Justice Binta Yanko declined and recused herself from the case. Uyi Agmofwebe reporting for Global Television News.
The Director General of National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Ahmed, has urged the scheme's internal auditors to instill the culture of accountability in their official duties. Brigadier General Ahmed disclosed these at the opening ceremony of the 2024 NYSC Internal Auditors Workshop. He stated that it is very important to reinforce the scheme's internal financial control systems to avoid financial losses. Speaking through the Director of Procurement, Chris Jemba, Brigadier General Ahmed urged them to ensure that the scheme's financial practices adhere to the highest ethical and compliance standards. You're watching News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When News Prime returns, Oshun reduces work days for workers, extends palliative. Details of these and more after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us on News Prime. And now to business. The Federal Executive Council has approved the establishment of a disaster management fund. This was disclosed to journalists by Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, at the State House in Abuja after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Tinubu. Kikolo Mokere has details.
The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says in this era of climate change, no matter the prevention measures in place, disaster will still occur. He emphasized the importance of pooling funds from various sectors and being prepared when disasters strike.
We need to build greater resilience in the form of a substantial disaster relief fund separate from the agencies that actually intervene physically. This will focus on the financing and bringing together the funding from across the spectrum, the federal, the subnational levels.
Edun also reveals that the Council passed the Economic Stabilization Bill, which is largely based on the recommendation of the Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee.
The Companies Income Tax Act, there's also a proposal to amend that, basically to allow Nigerians with the skills, the expertise, and the relevant relationships to be able to stay in Nigeria and provide services to foreign companies abroad without those companies having to come and register in Nigeria, thereby opening up a whole vista of employment opportunities, income opportunities, and entrepreneurship opportunities.
He further explained that the bill is aimed at implementing the committee recommendations, including proposed amendment to the company's income tax. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television.
Still on business, the National Bureau of Statistics has stated that 5.4% of Nigerians are under working age population are unemployed in the year 2023. Recall that the NBS had last year adopted a new methodology for its labor survey, defining those that are in the labor force to be 15 and above that are willing, available, and are able when the survey is conducted. Also, those that will be categorized as unemployed would have worked at least 1 hour from the previous 7 days and the survey will be conducted, which is a departure of the 20 hours at the old method carried. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has conducted a comprehensive mop-up operation across various markets in Maiduguri, the Borno State. A press statement signed by the agency's resident media consultant, Sayo Kintola, noted that the mop-up operation took place at the Gaboro Drug and Food Markets, the Monday Market, Open Air Theatre Drug Market, and the Gwange Drug Market. This initiative is aimed at removing drugs and food items contaminated by recent flood waters to prevent their reintroduction into sales as part of market control strategy. And operatives of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have again arrested a 48-year-old businessman, Christian Aboji. Aboji was first arrested at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja on May 10, 2023 upon arrival from Uganda via Addis Ababa for ingesting 93 pallets of cocaine weighing 1.986 kilograms. The United States Chamber of Commerce has expressed willingness to invest approximately $320 million in mortgage refinancing and small and medium enterprises in Nigeria. This was disclosed in a statement issued by the spokesperson for Vice President Kashim Shettima, Stanley Nwocha. The President and Chief Executive of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, has called on the federal government to end fuel subsidies completely. He said the removal will help determine the actual petrol consumption in the country as he confirmed ownership of 2 oil blocks in the upstream sector with an expected production date of next month. Dangote also said that fuel production from its $20 billion mega refinery in Lagos will help ease the pressure on the Naira. The refinery can refine 650,000 barrels of crude oil daily. Now, inter- and intra-city transport fares have risen by over 200% in Akwa Ibom State following the shutting down of petrol stations and other outlets by the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN. Report says that IPMAN had increased fuel prices to between 2,000 naira and 2,500 naira per litre. Explaining reasons behind the action, which took effect in Tuesday in a statement, IPMAN Chairman, Coordinating Committee and Secretary in the State, Comrade Francis Odoyen and Prince Ikom Adamola said the union called out their members in solidarity to demand a release of the PMS landed trucks seized 4 months ago by operative of the Joint Task Force. And out before seeing escalating clashes between Israel and Hezbollah threatened to overshadow United States President Joe Biden's final appearance at the United Nations signature annual event, as diplomats scrambled to avert all the out-regional war. The gathering of dozens of world leaders, the high point of the diplomatic calendar, comes a day after Israeli airstrikes on Lebanon killed more than 490 people, according to local authorities. As world leaders gathered in Manhattan Monday for the annual flurry of the speeches and face-to-face diplomacy, UN Security Council members France called for an emergency meeting on the crisis engulfing the Middle East. While Israel has announced dozens of new airstrikes of Hezbollah strongholds in Lebanon a day after 492 people, including 35 children, were killed in the deadliest bombardment since the devastating war in 2006. Israel's overnight strikes on southern Lebanon came after it said it had killed a large number of militants when it hit about 1,600 suspected Hezbollah targets around the country. Hezbollah said it had launched volleys of missiles at Israeli military bases hours after 180 of its projectiles and unmanned aerial vehicle crossed into Israel airspace, sending people in the city of Haifa running for shelter. An American woman who disappeared while hiking on South Africa's Table Mountain has been found dead. Brooke Chervont, a student from North Carolina, was in Cape Town during an internship at a non-governmental organization. The 20-year-old student was reported missing after a tracking app she was using while on a solo hike stopped updating and she could not be reached. Police told local media that her body was discovered on Sunday in a mountainous backdrop area known as Devil's Peak. And now to sports, Liverpool manager Arne Slot has provided an update on the goalkeeper Alisson Becker's injury status while the club faces the mounting pressure to secure Trent Alexander's long-term future amidst the interest from European giants. Alisson, who missed Liverpool's recent 3-0 victory over Bournemouth, is still on the road to recovery. Slot confirmed in a pre-match press conference that the Brazilian keeper will not be available for the upcoming Carabao Cup fixtures against the West Ham United. English Premier League giants and Liverpool, Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur have sent their scouts to watch Atalanta forward Ademola Lookman ahead of a potential move next summer. According to the football's Gamer Belly, in the APL True had their scout in attendance during the European Champions League between Atlanta and Arsenal last Thursday to watch the Nigeria international. And on more sports, former two-time heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua has been urged to retire from boxing following his knockout defeat to fellow Brit Daniel Adubios on Saturday. The call came from the former boxing champion Prince Nassim Hamed, who believes Joshua should bow out of sport after suffering his full professional loss. Juventus are reportedly plotting to bring Victor Osimhen back to Serie A as they look to boost their attack next season. According to Rai Sport football chief Paulo, the Turin Giants have lost confidence in current frontman Dusan Vlahovic and are eyeing the Nigerian striker as a potential replacement. Pagani revealed that Juventus do not consider Vlahovic to be at the same level as other top strikers in the Italian top flight, like Inter Milan's Lautaro and Martinez Osimhen during his time at Napoli. And now to wrap up the Global News Prime, let's take a look at our top stories. Senate resumes a Jones plenary to honor late Senator Obao. Alleged reason Justice Nyako rescues herself from Nnamdi Kanu's trial. In business, petrol price is 2,500 naira as Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria shuts filling station over seized trucks. And on the foreign scene, the missing American hiker found dead in South Africa. Sports, Juventus plot Osimhen Serie A return. And as a package on News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV channel 365, start times 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now shown on the screen. I'm Medican Michael. Many thanks for watching and staying with us. See you again.